transmisión.
Somehow that doesn't sound good.
Yes.
The Biden energy shutdown the country.
Y ya se transmite.
Rounding the turn. You know, all that
Ya está
¿Dónde
transmitiendo.
está el
by
cosa?
the way, on November 4th,
It's online me.
hearing so much about it. COVID.
Porque yo creo que tú no estás cosa, hay que hablar.
Today, let's talk about COVID all over Europe, right? Europe's Mike going to talk about that. Now we're rounding the turn, and we have the vaccines coming out very soon, years ahead of schedule. If he would have done it like he did the H1N1 swine flu, would have been worse handled. That was an epidemic.
Yo no encontré el instante mío, el viejo creo que está ahí.
But you know that. The Biden energy shutdown would inflict deep pain and misery on Pennsylvania, mass layoffs, constant blackouts and brownouts, soaring gas prices. Nice to have that $2 gasoline, isn't it?
Encontraste, viejo.
Surging energy bills, no air conditioning in the summer, no heat during the winter, and no electricity during peak hours. Let's watch President Trump on television. I'm sorry, we won't be able to do it. The winters are
Abajo, ven ahí. Hay micrófono abierto. Tu computadora.
Senator by far, she's more liberal than Crazy Bernie. Even sponsored the $100 trillion Green New Deal. The Green New Deal, no, I don't think so. The Green New Deal would be an economic disaster for our nation, certainly for this state. Biden and Harris have a pledge to join and rejoin the Paris, look, you know about Paris? The Paris Climate Accord, one of the great disasters of all time. Just call up France. How's Paris doing? Shipping your energy jobs to foreign polluters all over China, all over the rest of the world. And you know, it was hard bringing them back. We brought our jobs back, a lot of our jobs. They're coming back now. They're coming back now. You know, and speaking about jobs, I want to thank the people that own this plant. You know, you have a governor named Tom Wolf, I guess? Tom Wolf. This thing was set up just a few hours ago. That's what's so incredible. There are people across the street trying to get it. This was set up because your governor made it almost impossible for us to find any site. Normally, we would have had an airport. We would have gotten in. We would have had it. I mean, this is really a nice place. No, I want to thank the trucking company. They're great. They're supporters. But we just found it a little while ago because they were shut out. We had a deal. It was a deal, and they broke the deal. Shut down. Whole Commonwealth is shut down. Although probably on November 4th it'll open. They'll announce on November 4th. Did you see the one governor said, no, I think we should be open by around November 4th. Oh, thank you, Aaron. No, they think they're going to inflict harm in bad numbers. Our numbers are so good. Our comeback numbers are the best anywhere in the world. Doesn't matter. But you know what? It does inflict tremendous harm on the people that are shut out of their jobs, that are going to lose their jobs with suicides and drugs and alcohol and all the problems. So Tom Wolf, next time give us a little notice, Governor. And I'll remember it, Tom. I'm going to remember it, Tom. Hello, Mr. President. This is Governor Wolf. I need help. I need help. You know what? These people are bad. We go out of our way, regardless, Republican, Democrat, when they have a problem. But he shut us out, and he tried shutting us out of two other venues. You know, we have 3 of these today in Pennsylvania. 3 of these. And these just came out, I have to say, because I watch in the fake news, there has never been anything like what's happening now. But these just came out. So Rasmussen just came out. Trump is leading. You know, that's been one of the most. How about big tech? How about the Biden scandal? And they're not even covering it. They don't want to talk about it. And by the way, that's a real scandal. And the press doesn't want to write about it, except for the New York Post. The press won't write about it. And big tech won't take it. People have no idea what's going to happen in Pennsylvania. That I can tell you. I know Pennsylvania. Don't forget, I went to school in Pennsylvania. I went to school in Pennsylvania, college, and I know it much better than he does. You know, he's always talking about, I grew up, right? I grew up in Pennsylvania. He grew up nowhere. He didn't grow up. No, did you watch him on 60 Minutes last night? Did you see yesterday when he called me George? No, I don't know if I like George. No, not George. What a mess. What a mess. No, he called me George. I don't know if I should be insulted or happy about it. It's sort of insulted. It's the first time that's happened to me in a long time. No, but the polls just came out. So let me tell you the real polls, okay? Because we feel we're winning almost easily, but you don't hear that. I watched television today purposely to see what was going on. So it started, CNN is the worst, but I hear the guy, I hear AT&T is finally getting smart, and they're gonna fire the head of CNN. That's what I hear. They're firing the head of CNN. That's what I hear. Zucker. But you know what? Look at this. So Rasmussen was very accurate last time, like one of the top 2 or 3. Rasmussen, Trump approval rating, 53 and 52, 53%. So in another poll, we're leading in Nevada. That's nice. We're 1 up in Nevada. We're way up in Texas, despite what you keep hearing. 5 up in Texas. I think we're much more than that if you listen to the governor of Texas, who's great. In Ohio, we're way up by 4 or 5 points, 5 points. In Florida, we have it down as 4 up in Florida. That's a lot for Florida. So in Florida, Rasmussen, that's a Rasmussen poll. These are all different. That's a Rasmussen, 50 to 46, we're +4 in Florida. You don't hear these numbers, right? You hear these guys get on television. Florida is going to be very tough. No, we're winning in Florida. We have crowds. We're winning in Florida. But you don't hear it. We're nicely up, 5 up in Georgia, landmark. It's called landmark. 5 up in Georgia. You don't hear that. I heard today, he's losing in Georgia. No, we're not losing in Georgia. We're going to win by much more than 5. In Arizona, we're nicely up, really nicely up. Very good. We're winning big in Iowa, but we should be with what I do for the farmers. Got them $28 billion from China. In Montana, we're so far up, they shouldn't even have the election. Likewise, in Utah, so far up, we're +12, +15. And in West Virginia, we're 20 up, 20 points up. These have just came out. They came out today. And then in a head-to-head with Sleepy Joe Biden on a national basis. I am really into the states because, you know, you run. Remember, Hillary used to complain. But I never did a national. You know, I think winning the vote, overall vote, is almost easier than the Electoral College. But you remember last year she'd complain. She used to campaign in the wrong states. The next year, but they probably learned. But in the national poll, we're leading against Sleepy Joe Biden. We're leading. And that's a Rasmussen poll. Head-to-head. No, we're leading head-to-head against Sleepy Joe. So I just thought I'd do that. Remember in the old days, 4 years ago, I used to read the polls. I'd drive them crazy. And they'd say, oh, that's not right. I turned out to be right. You know. So I want you to hear it. It's on television now. It's the only way we get it on because they don't put it on. They're fake and they're corrupt people. They're fake. They're corrupt. I mean, I never watched CNN, but I had to see it this morning to see. So I watched them for a little while. I watched MSDNC, owned by Comcast, right? MSDNC. And you watch these polls and you say, oh, this is terrible. They're fake polls. They're fake. They're total fake. These are real polls. We're going to win in Florida. We're going to win in Pennsylvania, I think. I mean, look at this venue. You have thousands of people across the street that couldn't get in. They couldn't get in because, honestly, Secret Service wasn't that well equipped. They didn't expect, because we just set this place up. We just set it up. And think of it. So we have a venue, and the governor that counts the ballots, right? The governor counts the ballots, and we're watching you, Governor, very closely in Philadelphia. We're watching you. A lot of bad things. A lot of bad things happen there with the counting of the votes. We're watching you, Governor Wolf, very closely. We're watching you. But the same guy that makes it impossible for us to get a venue, we just got this thing literally hours ago. And to have people across the street trying to get in is amazing. I mean, it's amazing. Which tells you, and I don't know if you saw the Ohio rally, we had 35, 40,000 people. Thank you very much. Nah, I forget it. Thank you. Now, one of them had a guest this morning. I really watched it for this reason. I mean, I had to look. It started off, COVID. Don't go and vote. Don't go and vote. You know who's not voting? The Democrats. They're not voting. You know, if you look at some of these early polls, so we're supposed to be way down in the initial week because it's the fake ballots, right? The phony ballots that are all crooked as hell. And then we catch up. But we have states where we're leading in early voting. That's trouble, because we win everything from here on in. We win everything. Just get out there and vote, or if you have an absentee, send it in. But you know what? There's nothing like getting out and voting. I did it 2 days ago. I went and voted. And it was so good. You know, I went in Florida, at Palm Beach. I said, okay, I'm here to vote. And the woman was fantastic. Sir, do you have identification? I said, just happen to have my passport. Sir, do you have any additional identification? I do. She said, thank you very much. And she was good. I mean, she was doing what you have to do. She was good. She was totally good. I hear this guy back there. So she did a great job. And you know what? It was a beautiful thing, because there's no way you can cheat. I mean, then they said, here, do this, and here, sir, you can, they give you a booth, you sit down, you do what you have to do. You get up, they fold it, they put it in, then you put it in the machine yourself. They don't want to touch it. It was so professional. There's no way you can cheat with these ballots. Who's sending them? Who's receiving them? Who's bringing them back? Who's signing them? It's ridiculous. It's the only way we can lose, in my opinion, is massive fraud. And that's what's happening, because all over the country, you're seeing it. Thousands and thousands of ballots. How about the military ballots that were thrown into a garbage can with the name Trump on it? So all we can say is law enforcement is watching Nevada. It's watching Philadelphia and Pennsylvania, by the way, but Philadelphia in particular, because they had a lot of strange things happen over the years in Philadelphia. And we're watching you, Philadelphia, and we're watching at the highest level. And we're watching the Democrat governor who's got his state shut down, a great state, North Carolina. He's got it shut down. We're watching North Carolina. We're watching Michigan. Oh, that's another one. We're leading by 2 points in Michigan, right? Hadn't been won in decades until I won it 4 years ago. We're leading in Michigan, and we should be. I brought a lot of car business in, brought a lot of car plants in. They hadn't had a plant built in 42 years or something. And we brought a lot of plants in. You hear that, Chet? You hear that? That's a brand new, beautiful F-35 jet. Stealth. That's why you can't see it. That's super stealth, actually. Joe Biden is a diehard globalist who wiped out your steel mills. You know it better than almost any place in this country. Closed down your factories, killed your coal jobs, outsourced your industries, and supported every terrible and disastrous trade deal for the whole, for For 47 years, this guy's been there. You saw in the debate. Did anybody watch the debate by any chance? But did you see? Here's my standard answer. Joe, you've been there for 47 years. Why didn't you do it? Right? And you left 3.5 years ago, Joe, so it's not like it was 25 years ago. You left. Why didn't you do it, Joe? You know, he's talking about, oh, I would have done this with the pandemic, and yet he had the worst. His chief of staff said that he and himself, the chief, they were grossly incompetent. They had no idea what to do. And now they're telling us how to handle a much more lethal problem. Amazing. I wonder if that chief of staff is still around. You know, he probably said it when he assumed Joe couldn't win, right? You know, when Joe ran, because he was always 1% Joe. We used to call him 1% Joe. And then he ran, and now he's at 50%. You know where he's at 50%, right up there he's at 50. And he ends up winning. Tell me, is politics a strange game? He was a cheerleader for NAFTA, which was a disaster for your state, and he enthusiastically voted for China's entry into the World Trade Organization, decimating your manufacturing and enriching China. It's really what made China. He voted for it. Pennsylvania lost almost 50% of its manufacturing jobs after Biden's NAFTA and China disasters. And it wasn't only him, but it was the thinking. That was the thinking. That's what they want. Decade after decade, vote after vote. Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe, has betrayed Pennsylvania. How the hell can you vote for him? Is this a serious... How can you vote for this guy? Congressman, how do you vote for this guy? Look. He almost got through the debate. I wouldn't say he was Winston Churchill, but it was okay. And then we got him in the last question. I said, you mean you're against oil? Yes, I'd wean it out. I said, Pennsylvania, Texas, are you watching? You have no choice, okay? If you stop fracking, which he's against, you know, remember? He'd say, I'm against fracking. I will ban fracking. He did this for over a year. We only have about 100 clips. We're going to play some of them for you, but here's the thing. I don't want to play them all. We don't have enough time in the day. But you don't have to take my word for it, because you know what? Because it's Pennsylvania, I did a special television, like Cecil B. DeMille. I did a really special little treatment for you. The late, great Cecil B. DeMille. Here's Joe on two things, security and fracking. You got to believe, you're not even going to believe it. Where is your screen? The screen costs us a fortune, so I hope you enjoy it.
My problem is I voted for NAFTA. I'm supporting NAFTA because I think it is a positive thing to do. And I do not pretend to be an expert on international trade matters.
When you ran for president and when Barack Obama ran for president, you both said you would renegotiate NAFTA. You didn't.
Trade agreements like NAFTA and permanent normal trade relations with China, which forced American workers to compete against people who are making pennies an hour, has resulted in the loss of 160,000 jobs.
The president is absolutely right when he says that China has been cheating for 25 years and that Bill Clinton didn't do enough about it, George W. Bush didn't do enough about it, Barack Obama didn't do enough about it.
How exactly are you going to negotiate that? What magic wand do you have?
A rising China is an incredibly positive development for not only China, but the United States and the rest of the world. Rising China is a positive development. It is in our self-interest that China continue to prosper. We want to see China rise.